Well, as far as I know, the next thing we'll be seeing you in is Mayor of Kingstown. Is that the most recent project that's coming out for you?
Well, honestly, I'm actually in a show right now, a film right now on Netflix that just came out called "The Harder They Fall." So I have a nice cameo in that. That it was weird because when we first started filming that, it was literally right before the pandemic hit and Hollywood
Wow.
shut. So what? Hollywood shut down February 13th of 2020. I was in New Mexico rehearsing Thursday, the 12th of 2020, and flew back to LA that night to do some
Wow.
stuff I had to do in LA, and everything shut down. And that was with it. That's with Idris Elba and Regina King, and I was actually rehearsing with him.
Wow.
Shut down, and then a year and a half later, I was on set again, doing what we tried to do earlier. But yeah, so that's out now. That just came out, and then yeah,
Nice.
Mayor of Kingstown is next.
Well, what was it then about Mayor of Kingstown that really drew you to be a part of this? Was it an offer for you?
Well, the thing that interested me first was Taylor Sheridan. I love
Okay.
his writing, and I dig his directing, but his writing is so raw. It's so it's the stuff that actors love because the characters are in these heightened moments, which a lot of movies and shows are. But the way he deals with it, the way he gets them out of it, is a little bit more just a little bit more raw than a lot of other writer directors. So that's why I was interested. I did audition. I put myself on tape for a role. There's so many roles in this show
Mhm.
that I put myself down for one of them, and I ended up getting a different one. And I wanted to be a part of it. So I put myself down. Yeah.
Was there anything you added to this role that wasn't in the breakdown for you for him?
No, it's no his. I think in a lot of the breakdown, it's for his particular characters. They're very small. It's not like a big, complicated list of what the character.
Backstory.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty small, and I think he just goes off of you know like most people what he sees and feels from the actual tape. Since everything now is done on tape, you can't get in front of a director in a room and show them what you have and your mistakes and then their corrections and how you deal with those corrections. That's the fun stuff about auditioning. But the good thing about auditioning on film is that you can you can do as many takes as you want and as
That's,
messed up as
and
many
then just
times.
send it on whatever the best one is.
Yeah, exactly. Send the best one.
You do play in a lot of dramas these days. Is there something about the genre that draws you to these characters or this particular role for this particular series? Or is it just stuff that comes across your desk that you're like, okay, I see what I can bring to this person?
No, I think for me, it's the drama is just so it's so it's why I want to act. Is because I want to try to figure out how these characters, how these people are navigating, some of the most devastating moments in their lives.
Right.
You know, that's to me what I loved from the very beginning. And I'm fortunate that I still love it. I still love that aspect of it, and so
Good.
whenever you get a chance to work with somebody who kind of epitomizes that, you for me anyway, I jump at it.
Well, Mayor of Kingstown is uh, created, as we discussed, by Taylor Sheridan, and he's known for the gritty, raw work that he does. How hands-on was he when it came to being on set, though?
Well, when he was directing, he
Okay.
directed the first 2 episodes.
Oh, okay.
And when he's directing, obviously he's very, very hands-on. But he used a lot of directors that he uses a great deal, from Yellowstone and other stuff that he does. So I think he trusts them a lot. Now, of course, they're always talking to him, and he's always seeing the footage. But I think he's prety busy, so he wasn't always there, particularly when he wasn't directing.
Picking at things, yeah.
Yeah, I think because I think they started working on the prequel to Yellowstone,
Right.
while we were still working on Kingstown. And so he had some of the directors that he worked with a lot on Yellowstone, the few seasons that they've already shot. He had them running the helm, and they're pretty good too.
What were some of your maybe most memorable, or at least episodes that really stood out to you from filming Mayor of Kingstown? Or is it all just at this point so incredible that you got to work on Taylor Sheridan's, beautiful portrayal of this, that, it's hard to pick one at this point?
Well, there's so many actors in this. There's so many actors and storylines. And so I don't get to see a lot of the other actors and a lot of the other storylines, because I'm just in my storyline, and how it comes to a head. My storyline, or the storyline I'm involved in, is kind of what sets everything off. But you don't see a lot of my character until everything starts to blow up. And then it gets so freaky and so hardcore that the people that were involved in one of the main impetuses for what happens in the prison, they get caught up in it, and it gets pretty raw, as we said before. So I only work with, really, throughout the I think I did 5 or 6 episodes, with about 4 or 5 people, that I see a lot, until the end, and then I run into a bunch of other characters, and I really enjoyed myself, because of a couple of things. Because you always knew the writing was on point. The actors I was working with were also top notch, and the subject, So for me, again, it goes back to why I started acting, and what I love about it, and what keeps me, after 35 years of doing this, what keeps me interested in doing more and more and more, and working with people like Taylor Sheridan, because it still excites me.
My goodness, every character you played, though, we just buy you as this intense individual. I mean, you play a lot of, I'm telling you, these drama characters you play, though, are so nuanced, and you can tell there's heart to them based on, I at least see it radiate a little bit from the person you are, whether, it's back in the day when you were on like Yard, you have a little bit of heart to you, but you're still a tough, like things like that. You play these characters that are so intense, but you see that there's a soft side to them as well. Is that something that you tend to try to bring out in the characters you play, or is it just something that you have found when, along the way, when you found these characters, when you play multiple episodes in a series?
I think the thing that excites me about these people is that they were once babies, that they were once these innocent little beings that, that a mother loved, or a father loved, or whomever raised them, loved them, and tried to nourish them, and tried to help them grow into good people that help elevate society, but lo and behold, being human, some of us go this way and some of us go that way. But I don't think, and this is just how I approach things, I never see people as thinking that they are bad,
Mm,
that they are evil. They might be twisted in some way in their mind. Something happened when they were young, or it's chemical
right.
imbalance or something like that. But they are going after things that they want, that they think they need, that they think will better their lives. And so I never view anybody I'm playing as a bad person, even if I know intellectually they are. I think it would be a disservice for me to just think of them as a bad person and just put my personal opinions or whatever the going opinion is of somebody
Mm.
that this or that is. Then I wouldn't be doing that person and the writer and director and story any good.
Well, no one is all good and no one is all bad. I mean, there's black and white to everyone. So that's what I'm telling you. I love that you bring out that little nuance of goodness in a bad person, and badness in a maybe a good person. We have our good and bad days. There's nothing that shapes us completely. You have a day by day situation to who you are, and I think that's great of all the roles you play. And you've been an on-screen actor, you've been a producer. Is there any interest in maybe stepping behind the camera in the near future?
People ask me that a lot, if I'd like to direct or but and I've directed a couple of shorts over the years, but it really, I love acting. And if I can continue to support myself and keep working while I do that, then you know, I know a lot of friends that have gone into directing,
Mm-hmm.
and oftentimes it's because things slow down.
Mm.
Uh, if they're not definitely already interested in it, that's a separate thing. But I know a lot of people that gone into it because they wanted to uh, elongate or prolong or continue working in Hollywood. And it gets tougher as you get older because obviously the roles start to shrink. It's a
Yes.
young person's business. But I, you know, I feel good as an actor. I really love doing that. I love that my responsibility is this specific person, and I make decisions for that person, not for all the other people and or outside of the story, for the crew and for the everybody else that I have to deal with, and the 1,000 questions I'd have to answer in one day as a director. It's not something that really interests me that much. I mean, who knows? I may end up doing some, but at this point, I'm pretty happy being an actor.
You have quite an extensive career. Do you have any favorite roles you've embarked on?
People ask me that a lot, and
I'm sure they do.
the truth is I don't. I'm always looking forward to the next thing. And in fact, the truth is, whenever I'm on a project, if I've been on for a while, I'm always starting to wean down that one and excited about whatever might be next, whether I know what's coming up or don't know. It's always exciting to think that you could get a phone call tomorrow or next week, and it could be something exciting, whether it's who you're working with or where you're going to be traveling to or what type of genre it is. All those possibilities is just a phone call away, and I love that. I really do. That part of the possibility of what's coming, it really excites me.
You do play many parts on roles that become iconic for series, and at least series that become iconic themselves. You know, whether it's ER, whether it's the 100, you play on a lot of shows that become significant in the lives of so many people. How does that make you feel?
It feels great, but again, that is why I feel it's so important to do the best I can for each character. Like for instance, the 100. Everybody, he's basically that character of Pike is the most hated character in the entire series. There's no question. Nobody's even close. Uh, but I just do not see him the way that the audience sees him. And I tried to make sure that I stuck with that this was a real person, that he had real desires, that he saw things maybe a little differently than the general public, but it was all for eventually for what he thought was best for the people that he was responsible for. And that's all I can do. And then after that, it's up to the audience to decide how they feel about each character. That's if I were to project and try to worry about what audiences wanted, or am
Hmm.
I be seen as a nice guy, or if I started doing all of that, it would just get so complicated and so overwhelming and a lot less interesting. So I put all that out of my mind, and I just deal with that particular person's needs.
Well, what would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the continued work that you do, the wonderful work that you do?
Thank you for watching, and I hope you continue to, and I hope you can continue to see me in some high quality stuff. I think it's that's the I feel blessed that I've been in so many things that are considered a part of film history and TV history, and I just want to continue to do that for as long as I could do.